welcome everybody to episode 2 of Super Geek Squad Podcast. Apologize for the last episode. We had a few technical difficulties, but we think we have it figured out for the most part, so this one will go a little smoother. Today we got Ron and Colten. And Colten, so how was your week?
It wasn't too bad. We had that snowstorm, so that was awkward. Screwed up my whole week because now I'm a day behind, but other than that, I mean, pretty normal as usual. I got angry today, though, already. Before I came here, I got angry.
Did you buy a Snickers?
Nope.
No?
I could have. I had the opportunity to, but I didn't. Went to the gas station. So I got up, and I was doing a few things, and then I texted you and said I was on my way over. And I was like, damn, I'm hungry. And I went and I looked, and I'm like, I have to sit here and, preheat my oven and, get stuff going, get stuff out on thaw, whatever it might have been. And I was like, I'm just going to get something quick. I'm going to go. I want it to be convenient. So where would I go? The convenience store, a gas station. Holy. I go there, and I buy a burger.
Yep.
They have it advertised on their door. You can get a drink and a burger for 49 cents. And I'm like, damn!
Yeah.
That burger could be rolled in the dirt and that would be a good deal.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't. Their pop machine was down. So I was like, well, okay, whatever. I'll just go get the burger then. And I got this drink here instead. The burger's almost $6. It ain't got no ketchup. It ain't got no mustard. It ain't got no bacon, no pickles. It's cheese and a burger and a bun that the bag of it might not have been closed the night before.
Oh my god.
So I ate it on the way over here, and every bite I'm taking in that stuff, I'm like, I'm going to drive into a tree. Made me angry. Supposed to, didn't sleep too well, so I was a little cranky, so that burger was supposed to, pep me up, put me in a good mood. Now I'm ready for violence. There's not much standing in my way anymore.
I see the Snickers were cooked there.
Yeah, I should have just grabbed a candy bar instead.
Yeah, that's the, with gas stations, it's, most of that stuff, they all, preheat it and everything the next day, and, some of it's good, some of it's, like you said, been sitting there for a while and you don't know. Sometimes you're scared. It might crawl out of the package and bite you.
You're right. However, anytime I ever buy anything, I go to Casey's.
Yeah, they got pretty good
and their stuff is, now, it might be sitting on the shelf there for a couple hours longer than it probably should.
Right.
But they don't actually reuse stuff from the night before. Like, if it's, left over or whatever, people say that they don't want to work at gas stations, and I say that all the time, but if you get to work at a Casey's and you get to be one of the cooks, when you leave and that food gets thrown away, they're one of the few places that do not care if you take it. So long as you aren't like, oh, it's an hour before close, I better cook 9 pizzas in case we get a rush, and then you just take all the pizzas. As long as you're not doing that, they literally don't care what you, you can just take it all. And my brother worked there for a while, and he would, for the whole time he worked there, I never had to cook. He'd just bring home burgers and pizza and popcorn chicken and chicken strips and all this stuff. And you could tell that, it was sitting out for a couple hours, you get a little bit of dried or whatever. All of that's fixed if you have condiments.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, it was.
Exactly. I will say, out of the pizza places we have here in town, we got Domino's, Papa Murphy's, Johnny B's, and Johnny B's, don't get me wrong, the brick oven pizza, some of it's good, but boy, oh boy, it's expensive.
Yep.
You spend $30 on a large pizza, you can go get 2 of them from Casey's that's made fresh.
And they're way bigger, too.
Yeah, and they taste better. I'm sorry, I think Casey's has the best pizza in this town, in my opinion, because Domino's, to me, you say, I want hand toss, which is supposed to be thicker crust, and you get it, and the crust on the end is thick, but the pizza is paper thin, and it bends, and it's like, that just don't, it's not supposed to do that.
I think Papa Murphy's is the best pizza. Papa Murphy's is amazing.
If you get their thin crust, I guess, ain't bad. I guess I'm just not a big crust guy.
You get the Chicago style pizza.
Oh, so I've been doing it all wrong.
But you've been doing it all wrong.
Oh,
I kid you not. I had this pizza one time, 6 years ago. I bet you I've put 2 employees at Papa Murphy's, their kids through college.
And Where'd you get out of this? You're supposed to get a commission, aren't you?
I got pizza. No, this pizza's good. I literally get that pizza like once or twice a month, bare minimum. It's never more than 3 times, but I've had it 3 times in a month because I'm like, damn, that's good pizza. And I mean, the pizza is massive.
Oh yeah.
And it's it's every topping that they have pretty much on there. It's double layered. I literally sit down, and if I'm like starving, I could maybe put down 2 slices.
Oh yeah,
the pizza
it's very filling.
They're huge. So
yeah, it's very filling. There's no question about that. The one thing that gets me about Papa Murphy's though, maybe it's just the pepperoni. I don't know. Have you noticed some of their pizzas kind of greasy?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. With a lot of that stuff though, like a lot of pizzas are pretty greasy.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Well, I mean, it scares me a little bit. It's almost like a horror movie. You know, it's like you make a Papa Murphy's pizza and you eat it, and then that white piece of cardboard that it comes on, all of a sudden just starts rolling up by itself. It starts to eat itself.
Yeah,
and that's kind of weird.
That's customer service right there, because they are making it easier for you to throw it away.
Yeah,
that pan is so big you ain't fitting that in the garbage can. But if it rolls up, it fits in there nice. They've literally sat down and had a meeting and talked about it.
Doesn't it scare you a little bit though?
No, it just knows that they have
like coming to life.
They have my intentions at heart.
Oh, okay. Well, it's all about Colten, I guess.
I mean, I know that it does like curve up a little bit or whatever, but I've never had it where it like really curves up or anything like that. So maybe there's just a person that works there that really doesn't like you.
I guess. I don't know.
And like Little Caesars, they just peed in your sauce or something like that.
Oh, that's so gross. You remember when that was
Dude,
here?
that was so... Okay.
I didn't eat Little Caesars a lot, but it was convenient. You go through the drive-thru, get a large pizza for like, what, $5?
Yep.
And then I found out down the road that people were like putting like semen and pee and all that in there.
So to give everybody a story, we live in a small town, and this was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was in like elementary school at this time.
Yeah.
And we had a Little Caesars. I'm young enough. I don't know what that means. I just know there's more pizza that we can get. And I'm like, okay, that's all I need. And you go, and it was even... Little Caesars are already cheap. Like, you're not getting that great of quality.
Yeah.
But it's cheap. So that's your trade-off.
Yeah.
And so it was even cheaper then. And I don't think the quality was like this exception excluded, but like for the most part it was like pretty much the same quality in that stuff. So like it wasn't like it was like worse quality or anything like that. You would go, you could, family of 5, you could drop like $25 and you've got food for everyone, and they can eat as much as they want.
Yeah.
And we went there and we got the pizza, and then you got your crazy bread, which is amazing.
Right.
And I go and I take a bite of the pizza, and I don't care what anybody says. You can go ahead and say I'm lying, I'm making it up. I don't care. I stand true to this. I took one bite of that pizza, and I'm like, this pizza don't taste good. There's something wrong with this pizza. And I wouldn't eat the pizza. I would only eat the crazy bread.
Mm-hmm.
And then come like 2 months, maybe 3 months, I don't know how long it was. Again, I was really little. A couple months later, closes down abruptly. Everybody's like, well, what's going on? It was so popular. You know, people are there all the time. Like, what happened? And come to find out, a bunch of people got in trouble because they would go and they had these like big, huge metal canisters that they would make their pizza sauce in.
Yep.
And they would take their little step stools or ladders and they would climb up to the top and they would pee right into the sauce. And just put all sorts of other nasty stuff in there. And they just got shut down instantly. And to this day, I'll eat crazy bread. Like nobody's business.
Yeah.
I can't eat the pizza though. Like even if it's fine and it's, you know, from a different town or whatever and that stuff, it just, I always get that idea. I'm like, dude, what if I'm eating somebody's pee?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I was going to make you sick.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and it's just like, you go, geez, how bad does that person hate society to want to do that?
There's you know, this is during like rush hour and that stuff. So they got a whole group of people in there and that stuff. It's like they got together and they signed like a blood pact, and they're like, we're just going to pee in everybody's pizza. Like, we're doing this together as a team.
Yeah, it's like, why work in fast food if you don't like it? Like, it's like, oh, it was so gross when I heard that. I was just like, because I heard some people getting really sick.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, because that, you know,
can
kill you.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So
believe it or not, any waste that comes from your body is not supposed to be consumed again.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Yeah. So I mean, I don't know whatever happened. I know they got in trouble, whatever, but that pretty much killed Little Caesars
in our area.
Yeah, in our area. I mean, I know, like, I see it in other big cities around us and stuff, and they do really good. But that probably isn't stupid.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is hard to do. It's very hard to not be dumb.
Yeah. Like, who, I don't know if you remember this, but back in the day they used to have the Bigfoot's pizzas.
I don't think so. I don't remember them.
I'm going to Google that really quick. I think, I want to know if it was Domino's or Little Caesars that made these Bigfoot pizzas. I'm going to look.
See, now you were saying, and this is a topic that causes a lot of controversy, and people you find out who people really are with this question. You said the Little Caesars was fast food pizza.
Yeah.
Or not pizza, you just said fast food, sorry.
Yeah.
Now, do you include, like, Domino's and that stuff as fast food?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think if a place... I consider Papa Murphy's fast food.
Yep.
For anybody that doesn't know what Papa Murphy's is, they make your pizza. It's basically like a Subway.
Yep.
You just go there, they have, like, the same, like, layout, like, the same windows and trays and that their stuff is in and everything like that. Tell them what kind of pizza you want. You can just, like, order off the menu and, like, I want one of these. Or you can, like, quite literally go down the line and be like, put some of those on there, put some of these on there. And then they go and they wrap it at the end. Now, you have to make the pizza when you get home. However, I classify it as fast food. And the reason why, there's one factor that decides if a place is fast food or not. I don't care what anybody says, there's one factor. If they have a drive-thru window. If they have a drive-thru window, they are fast food.
Yeah.
Which...
Even if they don't use it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If they got a window there that slides open, it's fast food.
Yeah. Because I've noticed, like, Burger King has, like, 3 windows.
Yeah.
And I think they only use one.
I don't know. The first one you can't. The first one, like, if somebody opens it up, it's because somebody's in the lobby and they're bored.
Yeah.
Like, it's quite literally, you have your front counter, right? You walk in the store, you turn left, your front counter, then there's your 2 windows, number 2 and 3, and you turn right, and all the way down at the other end by where the playground is, they got window number 1.
Yeah.
Who is using that window?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no. I think any food that you most of the time where it's like pizza and stuff like that, if you got to go and get it or drive to go get it, you're driving.
Yeah.
Fast food. You know, like, I mean, you go to, like, you know, Applebee's or something like that. I mean, that's obviously dining or whatever. But you know, have you been to Applebee's in a while? Or
I went there one time, like 3 or 4 months ago, I think.
Have you ever noticed every time you go in there, it smells like poop?
I did not know.
Like, it's like a sewage smell. Like, every time, like sometimes it's really bad where you just walk in like, who crapped himself? You know, it's just...
When I went there a few months ago, there was you know how they got like somebody at the front or whatever, the hostess or whatever their proper name is and that stuff, where they'll seat you and that stuff or whatever. I don't know who this person was. I swear to God I've never seen him before in my life. Now, small town, I probably have seen them before, I just don't know who they are.
Right.
And so, I'm sitting down, and you know when you're like sitting down, or you're laying down, or whatever you're doing, and you're just like, I feel strange, just because like, you feel like somebody's staring at you.
Right.
And she's like got her elbow on the table, and like leaning on her hand and that stuff, and just staring at me, like the whole time, dude. And she's like staring at like the back of my head, and I like turn around, and she'd just be like, what's that on the ceiling behind me? And I'm just like, what is going on? And so like, it made me feel weird, because I don't know who this person was. I haven't gone there since. I'm scared.
You know what that means, right?
What's that?
She was into you.
Well, yeah, but
she was undressing you with her eyes.
Yeah, but here's the issue, okay? We live in a society, okay? Now, I'm not going to shoot anybody. There's no Joker scene here. But we live in a society where everybody looks younger than they are. Or you can't tell anybody's age.
Right.
I have my facial hair that I've grown to make it so people stop thinking I'm underage.
Yeah.
On Thursday, when I was at work, somebody asked me if I was old enough to vote. And I'm like, yeah? Like, what, do you drive? Yeah, I have a... Like, what do you mean? They're like, well, I don't know if you're old enough. And I'm like, what do you mean? And the reason he asked this is because he's running for city commissioner. And he comes into the senior center all the time and that stuff. And he hangs out and he talks with his friends that are Vietnam buddies and that stuff. And I'll shoot the shit with them for a while. But he needed to, like, approve my age because he didn't think I was old enough to actually be able to sign to recommend him. And
my God.
So, yeah...
I would have been like, I'm not signing crap for you. You insulted me. Like, you know, little people have voice too.
Well, he thinks I'm young still, you know, so that's good. That's good. But you don't know how old somebody is, and there's no way that you can go around it, right? Like, what do you do in that stuff? Like, Your Honor, she approached me. That's not gonna fly.
Yeah.
Your Honor, I thought she was old enough. That's not gonna fly.
Yeah.
And then the last one is you walk up to somebody, how old are you? That's a red flag. Like, that's weird. Doesn't matter if they're staring at you or whatever it is. There's no way to go around it. So I just keep my distance from everybody.
Well, on the first note, I would have told that guy that wanted you to vote, I'd been like, dude, okay, I got a fake ID. I have a scooter that's like 180 cc. Mm-hmm. I'm golden. I'm ready to go.
I'm ripping shitties in the parking lot.
Second note, in that situation, did you think she was cute?
No, because I thought that he probably wasn't old enough.
Okay, I can understand that. So that's where you like ask your waitress or somebody like, hey, that girl, she a college girl? She looks familiar. Oh no.
See, but that's still weird though. Like, you know about the general age of that girl and that stuff. She's still in school. Like, you know, it's just there's the intent isn't malicious or supposed to be weird at all. But there's no way to not be weird about it.
I know.
So
it's so hard, you know, like, you know, trying to date and everything nowadays. It is. You could see someone walking down the street, you know, that you think is 24, and here they're like 17.
Yeah,
you're like, oh crap.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh no, I didn't want to go to jail.
Yeah, and then you know, of course, with like dating site stuff, you got people making like fake age and all that stuff, you know, and nowadays a lot of people can start working when they're like 14.
Yep.
You know, so it's like we were at Applebee's one time. And it was me, a buddy, and my two boys, and there was this waitress there. And my oldest kind of thought she was pretty, and he's like 15, you know, and I was like, oh, you know, older woman, yeah, there you go, you know, she's probably like 21 or whatever, you know. And we go, my buddy goes like, well, I'm gonna go over and talk to her for him. I was like, don't.
Oh God!
We wanted to embarrass him. Okay, we were like 2 or 3 beers in.
Yeah.
We wanted to embarrass him. So he goes over there. He's like, yeah, he thinks you're cute and stuff like that. And come to find out, she was 16.
Oh.
And I was just like, game on, there you go.
There you
You're
go.
15, you're good to go, man. We'll just sit back and cheer and kind of coach you through it here. You know?
Well, you know, and even with that too, like, there's a lot of situations that are strange because Valentine's Day wasn't too long ago.
Yep.
And so working at the senior center, you know, I interact with a lot of elderly people and a lot of, not all of them, but majority of the time, old people like to be in other people's business. Now, again, 9 times out of 10, it's not like a malicious thing or anything like that. I'm a curious person too. They're just curious and they just... They don't got the boundaries though.
Yeah.
That, you know, they're from a different era, so a lot of things are different.
Yeah.
So they're asking me, you know, on Valentine's Day. We just got done. I was teaching an exercise class, and a bunch of the older ladies come around. They're like, "You got a date for tonight or anything?" And I'm like, "Nope. I'm gonna go buy myself some Burger King. I'm gonna get my brother some Burger King, and we're gonna go home and play games." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And the next day, a couple of ladies come up and that stuff. We know this girl. She's a nice young lady. She's my neighbor. She lives alone, and she's a nurse. Are you interested? That's a lot of not information. Like, I don't know anything about this person. Like I have zero idea. And it's like, and they've tried to do it a couple different times. They're like, I know this lady. She's about your age, I think. Well, that does. First off, like, that could be anything. Some of you think I'm like 17, like, even though I told you how old I am. Like, so like this could be like really, really bad. And you know, it's a nice gesture and that stuff, but it's another one of those things where it's like, you have, you know, good meaning behind it, but it's just such an awful idea.
Yeah. Well, you know, and this thing with the older generation, I've noticed they like to make small talk because it gives them something to kind of talk about for coffee time or whatever with their friends, and you know, it's funny because, you know, taking my mom grocery shopping, you want to talk about gossip. we went grocery shopping last night, okay, and we were looking for was like pizza sauce or something, and I was like, oh, I don't think it's in this aisle. And instead of just getting on the phone, looking at the app and seeing what aisle it's in, or asking the worker or whatever, no, my mom, no, there's this big, tall, husky-looking dude there, and she's like, you look like you know where the pizza sauce is. You know where that is? He's like, oh yeah, it's the next aisle over. You guys are in the wrong spot. I'm like, mother, it's like just. And she's like, yeah, I kind of figured. So we went over there, and we were looking for granola bars, whatever. he just started talking to some other random guy, like, about granola. Oh, there's granola. Don't know. He wants the bars, you know. And they were going out. I was just like, good grief. Like, you can't take her anywhere. She just talks to random people. It's just like, you go into Walmart, you go to your groceries, you plan to be there for an hour, and you get there like 6. The next thing you know, it's 9. You go, Jesus, we're still here?
Yeah.
It's like, my mother just talks to everybody.
I've got no problem, like, if somebody approaches me and they want to talk or whatever, even if I don't know them or whatever, like, small talk, whatever it might be. But I usually don't go up to other people because I don't ever want to get in anybody's business. Like, don't know what type of person they are, don't know what kind of day they're having, whatever it might be. But I've come to find out that the only people, I only ever get asked one question when I go, like, to grocery stores. And somebody, like, if it's somebody I know, they'll approach me, obviously we'll talk or whatever. But if it's, like, some stranger, I only get asked one question. And I don't know what it is about me that gives off the, hey, person who's abusing substances, come talk to me.
Oh, my God.
But they always come up. Do you know what day it is? Wednesday? Their eyes get big. He turns around and walks away. That's, like, all I ever get asked. People, like, you know, and then, like, turn their head and they're, like, blank stare, like, looking past me. Do you know what day it is? Why is it always got to be me? There's, like, 15 people around me. Like, why me? And, yeah, it's just, it's weird. And it keeps happening. Like, I said Wednesday. It literally happened on Wednesday. I went up to Walmart, and I'm over there, and I'm like, well, am I going to buy grapes or am I going to buy oranges? Because I can only buy one, because otherwise the other one's going to go to waste. I'm not going to eat them all.
Right.
And this person comes up, and I can hear this person, like, shuffling and breathing behind me, and I kind of turn around. You know what day it is? I'm going to die?
Right.
Is the correct answer my last day? Like, what is happening?
Oh, my God.
So, and it's just, I don't know what it is. It's weird.
I've never had people come up and do... Everybody, you know, funny thing, a lot of people tell me, like, oh, you're intimidating to approach. I'm like, what? You're the nicest guy you ever met. Like, I know I'm a bigger guy, but I'm like a teddy bear.
I was going to say, it's because you're taller.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you know, I've had.
And I'm average height, by the way, okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't put you in the little person, you know, kind of in between, you know. You still need a ladder to get stuff on the highest shelf.
No. I just climb on the counter.
That's the, like, funny thing was, you know, Mom's sitting there talking last night, and I'm looking at someone. I don't even know there's anybody behind me. And the next thing I turn around, there's like 2 girls standing there, just kind of looking at me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, you should just look at me and say, hey, you big dummy, move. You know, and they just kind of chuckle, go, yeah, you're fine. I like to make people laugh, like, you know, because they're probably a little pissed off because I was blocking, my big butt was blocking their way or whatever. But, you know, another thing I get asked too, one thing about being tall is, hey, son, can you grab that thing on the top shelf for me? Okay, here you go. Yep. I only want one. Okay, you go put it. Well, you know what? Give me 2 more since you're already here. Yeah. You know, it's just, which, and I don't mind helping, whatever, you know. And the funny thing is, it seems like more people will ask an approachable person where something is more than the employees that work there.
Yeah, because the employees hate the world.
Yeah,
they do.
They just, like, if they're going to the back, they're just like, somebody says, hey, be gone from me. Yeah. I just work here. I don't want to be bothered. It's like, that is your job, you know? Man, it's just, it's weird, today's society. But, yeah, so we had that snowstorm. And I thought it was funny because people in North Dakota live in denial. You know.
Actually, that's in Egypt.
Okay, well, whatever, you know, it's... you know, if you live in North Dakota, you're never happy. I'm not. Like, I complain, think it's too cold. Then I complain it's too hot. I'm fat, whatever. You know, I don't care. But
what does that one have to do with the weather?
Because when it's hot, when you're fat, when it's hot out.
It's just like how you're wording it. It's too cold, it's too hot, I'm fat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because fat people most of the time are never happy. Yeah. You know, and so I got a kick out of people because anybody that lives in North Dakota, you know, wintertime is not over until end of April.
Yeah. And
you know?
That's like 50-50 still.
Yeah. And we had a couple weeks ago, or was it last week, we had like 50, 60 degree temperatures, which is unheard of for this time of year.
Pretty much all but like 3 days in January, we had record high temperatures.
Yeah. And people were like, oh, yay. early spring, yeah, groundhog looked out for us this year. And I was like, yeah, BS.
Mm-hmm.
But you're in denial. Like, seriously, come on. I was like, I guarantee you we get a snowstorm, probably 3 or 4 more before the end of the winter.
Yep.
Oh, no. I was like, yeah. Then I seen that snowstorm. I was like, yeah, you
that
bunch of
snowstorm
idiots.
hits on Monday, yeah.
Yep, no, you guys are, you're asking for too much too soon. This is North Dakota. It could snow in July.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I tell people, too, because a lot of the people that I talk to and I interact with or play games with or whatever, they're from the nice states. We got Florida, we got Texas, we got California. Now I say nice states in terms of like snow weather. There's other stuff that goes on, but they're always like, yeah, what's the weather like up there? And I'm like, we literally have 2 seasons. We have winter and not winter, and both of them are 6 months long.
Yeah. We don't have a fall. People call it fall and spring.
Yeah, because we call it fall only because the leaves are on the ground. The temperature does not change. It's the same thing. It's the same type of stuff or whatever. We're going to have cloudy days. We're going to have rainy days. It's going to be humid as all hell.
It's crazy. Like, oh, man, I don't care. Like, I drove out by the dam the other day, and it's starting to open up already. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to pull my fishing stuff out. Like, I'm really itching. Like, I want to go so bad. I couldn't do any ice fishing this year because it wasn't cold enough. Yeah. Like, I mean, for temperature wise, normally we're like negative 30, negative 40. I think the lowest we ever got was like, and that's to some people's like negative 20. Yeah, I mean, we had some days that were like that, but I think the biggest thing is that like it never stayed that consistently. Like we would get days that like I know that we had days where we got below like 30 and negative 30, negative 40, but it would stay like that for like one afternoon, and then the next day it would be like 0 degrees or like 5 degrees or something like that, which to a lot of people is freezing, but that's like a weather like I will go outside and like take out my garbage in like my shorts and my t-shirt because that's like not bad weather. Like when it's like 30 degrees here, I mean it's windy today, but when it's like 30 or 40 degrees out, you will literally hear people all over there like, oh, it's so beautiful outside, like I just want to sit outside all day and soak up the sun because that's just the kind of weather we have. And then you get people from California or Texas, like some of the college kids here, and they're like sitting there with a big old fluffy winter coat. I'm cool. I'm getting ready to go fishing or something. It's like, no, you don't know. To kind of touch on what we were talking about last time when we got cut off, I wanted to kind of talk. I don't know if you're familiar. I know you know what the Ninja Turtles are. Okay, are you familiar with The Last Ronin?
I mean, I probably. I know a little bit. I don't know a crazy amount. And you're talking about the Ninja Turtle stuff, right? Okay.
Yes.
I know a little bit, but not.
Okay. You know the story?
I don't think so.
Unacceptable. Homer Colten.
I mean, I might. I don't know. Because here's the issue, okay? I'm a huge history buff. So when you say The Last Ronin, I can't think Ninja Turtles at all. I think of actually history. And I don't know if their story's close to that or not. I was going to say, there's probably a lot of similarities. So I probably do know probably a lot more than I think. I just don't know it.
So I hated it when it first came out. Okay? And this is why. Like, now my perspective is different now. It's just because I'm a die-hard Turtle fan. Okay, I like the old school 90s cartoon into the 90s movies. Like, those are my Turtles, man. And never, ever, ever thought they would kill them off. In this story, it shows all of them being killed off except...
Oh, it's Mikey, right?
Michelangelo.
Yep, okay,
Which, the goofiest, most fun turtle... almost everybody's favorite. It's the last one, and that didn't make me mad. What made me mad is, why are you killing off the turtles? Like, turtles, there's some turtles that live like 200 years. We ain't even close. Like, why would you do this? Like Kevin Eastman, like, why would you do this? And then I kind of seen that they were trying to go and do like a different direction, so they wanted to like have the Turtles, Last Ronin, like, Mikey finishes their story and is heroic and then ends up going and being with his brothers, And I'm not going to give it all away because I don't know if everybody's checked into or whatever. And the guy I used to work with, I was like, we would have debates about this. He's like, why are you mad? Why are you mad? I was like, it's the Ninja Turtles. Like, why would you kill them off? Like, this is so stupid. He's like, go on YouTube, watch the comic book reading, and then tell me what you think. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, it was actually a really good story.
Yeah.
It still pissed me off because they were ending that story.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how badass they think Shredder is. He's not going to beat the Ninja Turtles. And in that story, he didn't. It was, like, I believe if I remember correctly, it was like his daughter or something like that. Sorry if I'm got that wrong, but it was some descendant of Shredder that got successful doing this.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was they killed him off one by ambush, you know. And so I kind of lightened up a little bit, like, okay, and they're talking about wanting a lot of people want him to make a movie. But the problem is if you make a movie about the Last Ronin story comic book, it is not going to be kid friendly.
Yeah.
It's going to be rated R. It's going to be a lot of blood and evil, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, honestly. Because I mean, it could be maybe like a Netflix hit or something, but to adult collectors and adult fans, probably be like, oh yeah, this was pretty cool. But to try to market things for your younger generation, I don't know how good it'll do.
I mean, it's definitely going to be a difficult thing to accomplish, but I mean, they did that with the Power Ranger movie.
Yeah,
you know, like they found a good way to make it so there was action, but it wasn't violence.
Yeah,
and they found a way to kind of like, you know, recapture that of the older fans, and then like also bring in newer fans with it. Now they haven't done anything with the damn thing since then.
Yeah,
which is stupid because like they created this movie. And now I'm not going to say, like, it needs to go on to win a bunch of Grammys or awards or whatever and that stuff. But, you know, they did well enough that it was perceived as a good movie.
Yeah.
And you get these people that all of a sudden become excited about it. And there might have been talks about stuff, but I don't know of any talks that they've done. They haven't really done interviews. And then they left off on a huge, like, cliffhanger, too.
Yeah.
Introducing a new character. That everybody's like, oh my god, no way. And then they haven't done anything with it. And I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of movies that do that. Like, they set themselves up for this, like, huge, you know, second part or third part or whatever, it might another sequel, and then they just don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Which I feel like that's where you lose fans, because then they don't have faith in you anymore. And if you have somebody that's waiting for something for so long, and it never happens, eventually they're not going to care anymore. And then when you bring it in, some of them will come back, they'll be like, oh yeah, let's go. But other ones are like, I don't care, because they're going to do the same thing. I'm not going to, you know, take all this time stressing about this stuff or whatever it is. And I can speak from that from heart, because I'm like that about a lot of things. I'm constantly checking, like, is this going to have a sequel? Is this going to be doing this? Is this game coming out? Is this, you know, I'm constantly looking and like, okay, oh man, hopefully we can do this. There's a game called Star Wars Clone Commander, or Commando.
Right.
This came out on the original Xbox. And they left on a cliffhanger.
Right.
They ended with, you've seen Star Wars, right?
Yep.
Okay. They ended with, you're playing a squad of 4 brothers that are all clone commandos, the toughest clones there are.
Right.
And your mission ends, or the game ends, where all of the brothers are on Kashyyyk right before Order 66. The clones are just coming in to start fighting. Like, you can see all the big ships overhead and that stuff.
Right.
One of the 4 brothers gets captured.
Okay.
And he's screaming over the microphone, and you guys are like, we need to go get him. That game ends. It's been like 20 years.
Really?
Yes, and they've literally teased that they're going to bring it in and that stuff. They've never done anything. Star Wars is in a position where everybody hates everything that they put out. All they need to do is make this game, and it just has to not be garbage. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to not be garbage.
Yeah.
And they would, like, revitalize the franchise, because so many fans want this game. This is like the Star Wars game that people like.
Oh yeah.
And they just don't do anything with it. And it's like, dude, you could give me a week and I could write a story for you. And it's not gonna be perfect because it's done in a week. But I promise you that it would resurge the Star Wars franchise, because Star Wars franchise is going downhill fast.
Yeah.
And it sucks, because that's like probably it's between that or Lord of the Rings. But
yeah,
those are my 2 favorite franchises. And I don't care what anybody thinks. The actors were not bad. It was the story, okay? But in the newest trilogy, it was awful. I don't care what people say. There's a couple good characters. There's a couple good moments. Rey is such an awful character. I don't care what anybody says. You can't go around swinging and screaming like a literally child throwing a temper tantrum and then people saying that you're the strongest Jedi that there ever was. I don't care. It's literally in the lore that the Skywalkers are because of the cells in their body.
Right.
You can't have somebody else just all of a sudden be better because it's the 21st century, guys. Like, no, that's not how it works. You have to have... If there was reasoning, if you could prove why and explain why, sure. But you can't just throw somebody in front of me where the last 20 years, this has been the number one OG and the best, and there's never, ever been anything past it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we're past it now. Like, somebody's better.
Right.
So you can't just do that. There's the character Finn, who was supposed to be a Jedi.
Right.
And they literally have parts with him fighting with the lightsaber, and then they just decided to drop it. There's all these other characters that were in there for no reason, all these other characters that were in there for a reason, and they dropped it. All these bad things.
Yeah.
Then you go and you create the TV series, The Book of Boba, which I was super excited for. Holy, that was terrible. It was so hard, too, because he's one of my favorite characters, but I don't care what you say. It was terrible. Then you go throw out the Ahsoka show, which was okay. It wasn't great.
I don't think I watched that.
It wasn't. It was okay. I think there was a lot of things that were really tough to deal with, and I think a lot of it is because Ahsoka was in the Clone Wars, the animated series, and she was just a kid, and now she's like full. Like, you don't get to see like how like you only get to see a little bit of the character development,
right?
And then you jump to this like same person but like different character kind of, and like you can, if you think about it, it makes sense, but you don't get to see any of that gap, so it's hard when it's just thrown at you.
Right.
So, like, that one I'm not going to hate on, because I get it. It's just hard to get behind it.
Right.
Then you have the Kenobi show. My favorite character of all franchises ever. He's my Jesus.
Yeah.
I pray to him.
Yeah.
And it was, like, maybe the worst thing I've ever watched.
You didn't like that series?
It was... The other characters that were in there ruined it so hard.
Okay,
like, it was,
I was gonna say he did.
He did great.
Yeah.
He will. McGregor will never be in something that I dislike.
Yeah.
He did amazing, but so many of these other characters, and I don't even care. Like, I mean, it starts with these like 3 bounty hunters trying to chase Leia.
Yeah.
And they're tripping over their own feet. They're hired experts in that stuff, and they can't catch this little kid because he's like sometimes turning left.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't make any sense. You know, then they have like all these like super incredibly powerful Sith Lords and that stuff that are all fighting for power, but this one female one is the like strongest one because she like has a grudge. There's like no reason, there's no other thing or whatever.
Right.
And then she gets stabbed by Vader or whatever it is and that stuff, and she's like, oh, but I'm gonna live this. There's no way that he stood a chance against Vader.
Yeah.
I hate that they even tried to mimic it, and it just, a lot of it's
it's crazy.
We'll help you put something under his ear on those.
So there's just been... Then they had the TV show Andor, which was okay. That one wasn't too bad. But, I mean, their last, like 10 things that they've dropped, like 9 of them have been a bust, in my opinion. They're just, like...
Yeah, like, I like the Boba Fett series. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they made any more seasons. I think they made 2. And
oh, sorry, The Mandalorian, actually. The Mandalorian is phenomenal.
Yeah,
that is so good.
Yeah. And then they made another one after that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm terrible with remembering titles. Like, but I can't remember. I thought the Obi-Wan was pretty decent. Like, they could have done some stuff different. Mm-hmm. Boba Fett was good. And then there was another one they made. I can't remember the name of it. I didn't like it. It started off with the guy. The guy murdering somebody, and he was trying to hide it and run from him. And
is he trying to like run from like the Imperial officers?
Yeah,
that's Andor.
Okay, I did not.
Yeah,
I didn't care for that.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I'm not a huge fan. But I was trying. Like, I watched a few episodes, and I was just like, you guys lost me. Like, you lost me. Like,
so the thing is with a lot of things is there's this weird middle ground that you have to find. Now, you don't want to cater towards just one group of your audience.
Yeah.
But you have to slightly.
Yeah.
Your diehards, you have to cater to them a little bit. Because your casuals aren't going to be going out to see everything you put out on debut day. Your casuals aren't going to be buying a bunch of Star Wars shirts and collectibles and lightsabers and all these things, right? It's your diehards. Yeah. So you do have to cater to them a little bit. Now, they are they're a smaller portion than the casuals, so you don't want to go too hard into it. But the way that you appease the diehards is you stay true to the characters and you stay true to the source.
Yeah.
So if you're a casual watching Book of Boba, you like it. It's great, and that's again, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
But when you start to like realize like how the other characters, because like all these stories are Book of Boba, Ahsoka, The Mandalorian, all these are supposed to tie in together.
Right.
I don't know if Andor does. I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either.
Yeah, because that's supposed to be stuff that's way before. They're just doing it because Rogue One was so popular.
Yeah.
So like all these things are supposed to like start to tie together, and then when you look at how they're tying together, you're like, this is so lazy, and they could have done so much more because the Star Wars universe is infinite.
Yeah.
And there's so many different characters and planets and stories and relationships and all these different things that you can literally do almost anything you want,
right?
As long as you put effort into it.
Right.
But the issue is they're not putting a lot of effort into it.
No.
And so that's why like it's getting like the Mandalorian. I know people don't like the Mandalorian, but it's not changing the character really, right? Like the character himself, the Mandalorian, is changing slightly, but they're showing why. They're showing his character development, why he's like taking an interest in this kid, because this kid is, attached to him, and this kid thinks of him as like a father.
Right.
So he's starting to think of the kid as a child. He was sworn to protect this kid. He sacrificed his life how many times for this kid?
Right.
He's no longer like, I don't care about this kid. He's like, I gave my life up for this kid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna that's what my purpose is now.
Right.
They're gonna show that, and they're sticking with that, and they're adding other elements, but
Right.
they're still revolving it around that central point.
Yeah.
But a lot of these other ones are just like, who's everybody's favorite Star Wars: The Clone Wars animated series character? Ahsoka. We're throwing her in. What's she doing? Fuck if we know.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, like tie these together and that stuff, and a lot of it might make sense too if you've watched the Rebels TV series. I didn't watch that very much. I didn't care for it.
No.
So I get that that's going to, if I watch that, maybe it changes my outlook on it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it needs to be something where, again, when you're appeasing those diehard fans, it needs to be something that the casuals can follow, but the diehards are like, oh my god, you just, oh my god. Like, that's what it needs to be. And, I mean, something like we're like in the Book of Boba. Like when he gets his armor, or when you're watching The Mandalorian, and they go up to that guy. You've watched all of Mandalorian, right? When they go in the desert and there's that sheriff, he's wearing Boba's armor.
Yeah.
When you see that as a casual, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. But when you're a diehard fan, you're like, gee, oh my god, what is it? There's no way. And then, when Boba's not actually dead. You're a casual, you're like, okay, who's this guy? But when you're diehard, you're like, it's something that appeases both of them while still doing the same thing. And there are those moments that they do good with it, but there are so many more that they just completely throw stuff out the window. Like, I'm watching, and I'm like, if they did this instead, it'd be so much better. And I'm thinking that as it's happening. And it's just...
Yeah, it's, that's why, like, excuse me, when they're making these new series and shows and stuff, going back to the Power Rangers, was it Once and Forever, or Summer Once and Always, and I kind of got where they were going with it, but at the same time, I kind of was like, I was a little pissed off because, okay, you basically left it hanging. Where's Zordon?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you made Rita into some cyborg. Well, what's next? I mean, you could bring back Ivan Ooze, maybe. I don't know. He blew up in the movie, but I don't know. And you bring back, they talk about bringing back like Lord Zed, and it's like, but a lot of people are like, well, it's cool seeing the old Rangers, but they can't do this forever. They're getting older. You can tell they're slowing down, And so I was like, well, I know basically a big part of this last show was a tribute to, Jason David Frank and then the actress that played Trini. Sorry, I don't recall the name. Sorry, but so I get that. But Austin St. John, I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says, the best Red Ranger ever besides Tommy, couldn't be in it because he was dealing with some personal stuff at the time or whatever. But there's talks about trying to bring him back in and trying to maybe do a different series or whatever. In my opinion, and I know this is just somebody throwing it out there. I don't know if you watch Cobra Kai or whatever.
A little.
But the kids from Cobra Kai, there was somebody like, what if, like Diaz was the Red Ranger and
Yeah.
like, Hawk was the Blue Ranger. Like these kids that do martial arts in another series, like actually had to take martial arts to do this, become the new Power Rangers, the Mighty Morphin.
Yeah.
And then like the older Rangers kind of like to mentor them, like help them. Like I'm kind of okay with that because I know they're really good actors and they take a lot of passion and pride in what they do on that Cobra Kai series. And you already introduced a young Ranger with the Yellow Ranger, so I would not be against doing a new series with a little bit younger kids, fresh out of high school or in high school, because they're dang near to that age.
Yeah.
And keeping the old Rangers around to kind of help mentor, like, fight evil, but try to find Zordon and try to get a little mini series going. I mean, that's just me. I don't know, but I think the person that put that online as a what if kind of had something going here. I was like, this wouldn't be bad. Now, I don't, because there has been rumors that Jason David Frank's daughter might come back and play the Green Ranger.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how that would fly. I think it would be cool, having his daughter do the Green Ranger. I mean, I don't know. It's just me. It's kind of like a legacy thing.
Yeah.
And,
which most of the time does work out pretty well.
Yeah, and then, of course you got, Tommy's brother, his real brother, actually was in the series back in the 90s as one of the evil Rangers or whatever. Kind of looks almost just like Tommy. I don't know if they'd bring him in or whatever. But, they're, like you said, there's so much they could do. But does it feel like to you that when they made that Ranger show, that was, I think it was like an hour, whatever, is it to you that was kind of like budgeted and cheaply made?
It does a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Yep.
Yeah, so it's just like, okay, somebody's got to see this and go, this could be way more, this could be way bigger, like, wake up and do something.
Well, a lot of it too, like, it's just your playwriting. Like, you can have a lot of unknown actors or actresses, and it can be something good if the person who's behind the paper and has the pen, if they're actually passionate about it.
Yeah.
The most prime example I can use based on what we've been talking about, Power Rangers and Star Wars. There was the scene in Power Rangers where, I don't know which group it was, but it's the group of 5 of them. They're getting ready for the big fight, and they look off over the mountain, and they see thousands of enemies approaching. And they're like, we don't stand a chance. Like, there's not, like, it's over. We're done for. Why? How? No idea. Nobody knows why. Who cares?
Right.
All the Power Rangers show up.
Okay.
Hundreds of them. And it's like, you're just like, this is so goddamn awesome.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And then they just go start kicking ass.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was such a simple thing to do. Again, there was no real, like, build up to it or anything like that or whatever. It's like, okay, well, how did they get, but it just happened.
Yeah.
And the person who was writing it, they cared about the franchise. They themselves was like, this would be so fucking cool. Like, if you have something that you're passionate about and you're letting passionate people run it, they will make stuff like that can't happen. They will make it happen and nobody will question it. But then you go over to Star Wars. And you go look at the last one. I don't even know what the new trilogy, what the names of them are, because I dislike them that much.
Yeah.
You have Poe Dameron, who is the best character in the franchise, the pilot, and he's like, well, they have 500 super planet killers.
Right.
We have to go fight them. I'm gonna bring 20 X-wings, and we're gonna go do it. And then they get there, and they instantly get fucked up, and they're like, oh my god, why is it? He like starts crying. He's like, I'm so sorry, guys. I thought we had a chance. Who'da in their right mind thought that there was a chance? You could maybe get one. If there was one Superstar Destroyer, and it didn't have any fighters protecting it, and its guns were turned off, and you had an hour, maybe you have a chance.
Yeah.
That's none of those are a possibility. And then he hears oh my God, what is I can't think of his name now. It starts with a C, I think. Not Han Solo, but Han Solo's buddy. I can't think.
Oh, Chewbacca.
No, not Chewbacca.
It's his buddy.
Well, it is his buddy, but it's like it's the other buddy. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. He comes up over the radio and that stuff, and he's like, "You're not alone." And he turns around, and every random plane in the galaxy is there.
Yeah.
It's like, this is so dumb and stupid and such a... How? He didn't tell anybody that he was going to leave. How in the hell did they go and gather the whole galaxy in the 5-minute window that he's been gone for? No more do they jump out of hyperspace and they're all dead because they went into and act the largest ever fleet amassed with the largest ships ever created. And they went there with X-Wings. Of course they're going to lose. Of course there was no chance. But... wouldn't it be cool if the whole galaxy was there? No, because you did not set it up well at all. So they both did the same thing, but you could tell that the one behind Star Wars, they just wanted to make money. And anything that was going to be thrown at them, they were going to say, oh, it's because you're racist, oh, it's because you're sexist, oh, it's this, or it's that, or whatever. I think Finn's an awful character. Oh, you're racist. No, because they told us he was going to be a Jedi, and then he's not a Jedi now.
Yeah.
That's an awful character. You literally falsely advertised him. Like, that's so dumb. Like, why is that the case? That's not me being racist. I think Finn is one of the, like, probably top 3 characters in the movie series.
Yeah.
But he's a garbage character. That just tells you how bad all the other characters are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's just, and I hate that that's the fallback thing or whatever. If I don't look exactly like the person, Poe Dameron, I like him. Oh, it's because you're a white male. Well, if you actually did your research, he's not white. So shut up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But...
everybody's always got to throw a race.
It's always that thing, and it drives me so crazy because it's an excuse to be lazy with your writing.
Yeah.
And it's just... there's a lot of movies that do really, really bad.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, it's because it was bad writing.
Yeah.
Okay. But this one has a huge title behind it.
Right.
So they get away with it.
Right.
And it's the same sloppy writing, it's the same lazy work, but they get away with it because they've got that big old Marvel or Star Wars sticker on the front of it.
Right.
And it drives me insane because it's become so lazy, and there's so many things. Majority of movies that are coming out now are movies that aren't like in franchises. They're standalone movies or whatever and that stuff. A lot of the TV series that are coming out are people just doing kind of random things in that stuff and coming up with random ideas.
Yeah.
And they're becoming the most popular because the people who are working behind it, they don't have these multi-billion-dollar budgets to hire the most popular playwright in Hollywood. They find somebody that they're like, you're passionate about this. This is a project you want to do. We don't have a budget that can give you everything that you could ever hope for, but we can pay you, and we can see what happens. And then they put their heart and soul into it, and then it comes out as a masterpiece.
Right, yeah.
But now everybody else has so much money, they don't care. They're just throwing shit out there. They're like, oh, it's just another paycheck to me.
Yeah.
And you can't have that. If you're going to not put effort into it, people are going to talk bad about it. And that's just how it's going to be. And if you don't want people to hate on your movies or your TV series or your franchise or whatever, don't make it bad.
Yeah.
Put effort into it. Let people that want to be involved in it and have that passion for it, let them be in it, and it will become something amazing. But they won't do that anymore.
Right. Yeah. You know, that's kind of like, you know, with the Ninja Turtles and The Last Ronin. You know, do I think it'd be a good? It's a good story. Do I think it could be a good movie and everything? Yeah, I do. But I just don't. I get they're trying to move on, but why kill off? You know, the original Turtles. I don't understand. There is a rumor, and I don't know if they're actually going to do this, but there is a rumor that Kevin Eastman was looking to introduce descendants with 4 female turtles, and they had like samurai ninja names or something like that. I can't remember them all, but I was just like, here we go again. You know, I don't have no problem. Yes, there are real girl turtles in the real world, whatever.
Wait,
but,
really?
Yeah. It's like, but it's I don't have a problem with that. If you want to do that, fine. Do a spin-off.
Yeah.
Don't kill off the original Turtles
Yeah.
just to do something like that. I know they're trying to target the younger audience, the younger female audience. You know, I get it, but it's just ever since Peter Laird got away from it, Kevin Eastman kind of did his own thing. Not that he did a crappy job because it was Nickelodeon or whatever, you know, but the way they went with some of the stuff with the Turtles to me is ridiculous. You know, I mean, who in their right mind would ever think the Turtles get killed off?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, serious, they're mutants. Like, you know, I mean, the whole thing with, like, you know, when they made the Logan movie, Wolverine.
Yep.
I mean, I know he's part human, too, but
Yeah.
it's like, well, why you kill off Wolverine? Like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, you know, so it's like, I really wish they would put, like you said, more time and effort into doing these new things to try to keep pushing the story, but kind of have a little bit of old with a little bit of the new, but making sense out of it.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, it, like, they don't listen to good ideas. Like Jason David Frank said, he was live on Whatnot one day, signing autographs. This is before he passed away. And he was then talking about wanting to do a comeback series of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He says, but the stupid network won't listen to me, and they don't think it's going to be successful. And he made a comment. He said, really? Look what Karate Kid did with Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
How do you not think it's going to be successful if you bring back the right people and you write the right story, you do it right, it's going to be successful. You know, and so it's just like, if people would listen to the audience for once, listen to your audience, what they want. Almost every project where you listen to your audience has blown up and became pretty dang successful. You know, I just, it just really bugs me sometimes with, it seems like it's getting more about politics and money.
Yeah.
You know, and so, I mean.
And people have to realize that you have movies that are based on true stories. Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless if it is something that people might like or not, you gotta stay true to the source material on that, right?
Right.
But when you have something that is a fantasy world or realm, right, it could still be on Earth, but Power Rangers, that's still fantasy. Like, you can argue it however you want, that's fine.
Yeah.
But with that, like, now, if you have, like, comics beforehand and that stuff, obviously you want to try to stay true to that, because if you're not going to stay true, and this is what drove me crazy about the Lord of the Rings TV series, if you're deciding that you're not, and Halo, holy, I can't even, we'd be here for 4 more hours if I talk about Halo.
I haven't watched it yet.
Don't, it's not worth it. I don't know, they're sending it over to, like, deal with, like, they're throwing it up in prisons and that stuff to punish criminals. Like, it's that bad. But if you are blatantly, like in Halo, we specifically didn't play the games or read the source material because we wanted to do our own twist, then make a different goddamn franchise. That's all that it is. Don't take characters and just change them because you want to. Do something of your own. Be creative. Do something with your life. Stop it. You're ruining everything. Lord of the Rings was so terrible, the TV series. Halo was horrific. I still haven't even finished the first the first season. They have a second season. I don't know who the hell is funding this, but he lost a bet. That's all it was. Is he lost a bet and he has to pay for it now. Because it is, the Halo TV series is, in my opinion, and I've seen some pretty horrific things. The worst TV series that has ever been done.
Really?
Because it is just so, it is boring. The characters are terrible. Even if you decided that, even if I didn't know the characters beforehand, the characters are horrible.
Right.
The story is all over the damn place. It doesn't make any sense. They're throwing in different random things or whatever. It's the Ray syndrome is what I call it now. They added this random female character and that stuff who, she was just a farmer girl who really didn't even work on the farm because she wasn't strong enough. And now she's like the main character in an alien war with superhumans who have been trained and genetically bred to fight, and she's like there like hand in hand fighting too. But she doesn't have armor or anything, she just wears her random farmer stuff or whatever. Now she's not running around throwing punches or anything like that, but she's like there on the field with them fighting.
It doesn't
make, none of it makes any sense.
I was going to say, I don't think the lead even in the video games, was a female.
Well, there was the AI.
Yeah, but there was like.
And the Spartans. There are female Spartans. There are a lot of them, and there are some in the TV show. Yeah. But those ones are somehow even worse than the male Spartans are. I don't know what that. The one of them in that stuff is like he takes like oil from her, like that he uses to grease her gun, and she's like sitting in the bathroom like staring at it like he's a weird trance doll, like dyeing her hair, and that's like her character development arc. And it's like, this is so fucking awful. Like, I hate this so much. Like, I get that you want to make the characters like more human,
right?
But even though they look human, they're not. They're genetically bred and altered to be killing machines, because that's the only way Earth has a sliver of a chance.
Yeah.
Is they have to have people that don't have emotion, they don't care, they see an alien and they're like, I'm digging his grave.
Right.
Like, that's what it has to be. And now they're like trying to make it like they have relationships and that stuff, and they're falling in love with each other, and they don't want to wear their armor and stuff like that. And it's like, that's not what this is about. If you want to make it, you could make something like this, and it might be okay.
Right.
But you can't take these and do that.
Yeah.
Like, what if Gandalf just decided he's like, this magic is really wearing on me. Legolas, I need your bow, and he's an archer now.
Yeah.
No, like you can't do that. Like,
right.
Sure, maybe he's good with the bow. I don't know,
yeah.
But that's not the character. Use a different character.
Yeah.
Like, and it just.
Yeah, it's so frustrating, and we don't have anything against female characters. It's just write the story right.
Yeah.
Like, do it. You want to introduce female character, fine, but do it right.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of actors out there that could do a character like that really well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm not saying that the gal that plays does a bad job, because I haven't watched it, but I
don't think, like, in 9 times out of 10 with the female leads, most of them are pretty good actresses, actually.
Yeah,
and I think that they do, like, even in the Halo, I think that the characters actually do really, really well. It's another one of those things where they take the characters and they're changing the genders of the characters, and they're changing the ethnicity and the background and all this stuff or whatever. Right. But it's one of the very few shows where I'm like, okay, you know what? I can kind of get behind it.
Yeah.
But they're changing who the character is, and that's what makes it difficult.
Yeah.
The like main, his name is Commander Keyes. He's like the like admiral of like the space fleet.
Right. And
he was like this like old kind of scrawny white dude, and now he's kind of a shorter, bulkier black guy. It's not quite as young. And when I first saw that, I'm like, why did they change him? And then as he's going in that stuff, and I'm like, a lot of the characters are pretty bad, so it doesn't say that much. But he's doing the best in the show. Like, his is like the character where I'm like, okay, you know, he's in these like, his daughter is also like a high admiral and that stuff, and she's pretty true to the source. And now she's different color and that stuff too again, but she's kind of going around and trying to do her own things and that stuff, and he's like, he knows that what she's doing is right, but he's in charge of everything, so he can't just get away with it or whatever. So he's being hard. So it's staying pretty close to the source material, and so, like, the actor, you can tell he's giving the emotion to it and that stuff, and he's presenting himself well. So he's doing a good job with it. Like, I've got no problem with that.
Right.
But it's the other main characters, the ones that are playing the Spartans. The actors and actresses are doing the best that they can with the script, but the script was, like, drawn by a 9-year-old with a Crayola crayon. Yeah. And it just doesn't make any sense. Like, and if you watched it, you would quite literally be like, this. They're literally acting like toddlers. Like, they're just like he's supposed to be this. He goes in and that stuff, and he's like punching hand right through the skull of aliens, you know, and beating the shit out of them and that stuff. And then he gets home, and he just like stares in the mirror, and he's like, I'm so sad. And it's like, dude, my Master Chief is not sad. He's killing aliens, bro. He is the man. Okay, he's out there doing that. He's not worried about his feelings. Yeah. The only thing he wants to feel is the brains of an alien. Yeah. Like, that's what he's about, and it's just.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I look at what did you think of the last Power Ranger movie?
That's the one with oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the names of it and that stuff. Whoever the evil lady is, I can't remember her name.
Rita Repulsa?
Is that what her name is? Is that the actress name, right?
No.
Okay, so it's the one
where
that
was the character.
Where they're attacking the city and that stuff?
Yeah.
Yep. I didn't think it was too bad. I mean, like, it was... There was definitely little things here and there. I kind of feel like the... how they bonded and became best friends, I feel like that was a little bit rushed. Yeah. But then again, in that hyper-specific scenario, maybe, you know, or whatever. So, like, it wasn't too bad. I don't know. There wasn't... If I rewatched it again, because it's been a few months now because I did watch it not that long ago, but I would have to kind of, like, rewatch it again to kind of get, like, because I'm pretty sure anything I would critique is probably going to be something minor. Like, there was no, like, really big things where I was like, I don't know why they're doing this, because I just like Power Rangers, so it's one of those things where, like, they have to do quite a bit before they would upset me.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't like how some of the Zords looked. I mean, like, the Mastodon kind of looked like a beetle.
I guess,
you know, and, like, the Zords could have looked a little better. You know, I had no problem with... Basically, they kind of wanted to do a Power Ranger story with a new era.
Yeah.
But they want a little bit of the old story with it, you know, so I was okay with that.
I feel like they mixed it together decently.
And the guy that plays Billy is funnier than that. You know, he's smart, but he's funny.
Yeah, yep.
Like, you know, so, I mean, you know, one of the things I didn't like Goldar's appearance.
Oh.
Like, you just make him look like a big old monster made of gold lava. Come on.
Yeah.
Where's his wings? Where's his sword? Like, come on.
Yeah,
like, that was kind of dumb to me. But, you know, and then at the end, I don't know if you watched all the way through the credits.
Like when they're back in the detention?
Yeah, you go all the way through the credits, and then at the end, they say Tommy Oliver. They never went anywhere with it.
Yeah, see, that's what I was like saying like earlier. When they brought this like huge cliffhanger, and then there's just nothing with it. Yeah, that.
Did you know there was rumors that it was going to be JDF, and I was like, well, that ain't gonna. I mean, I get it, it'd be cool, but maybe why don't you make it like, you know, JDF's kid or something like that, you know, like Tommy Jr. or something like that. You know, then it would make sense. But I don't. A lot of people disagree. They think it was cheesy. They didn't think it was made very well. They didn't like the costumes. You know, but everybody has to. You want a little bit of that old with a little bit of the new. You know, and so there was rumors that somebody was going to make another Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie, but do it completely different. Different costumes, different, like how the Zords look, like they were going to introduce the Green Ranger, you know, and I haven't seen anything about it. The only thing that I've heard of that's even remotely close was JDF's movie, The Legend of the White Dragon. I don't even know if that came out yet. I don't think it did. I'm excited to see that, though. I heard it's supposed to be pretty good. It's going to be like an independent film, but I heard it's supposed to be pretty good. So, I mean, you know, that's kind of just like, you know, you and me are kind of similar. Like, you like the old, and you don't want it to be screwed up, you know? So, the last thing I'm going to cover here is the Mutant Mayhem movie. Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. The Seth Rogen movie.
Is that the one that had oh my god, the two monsters or whatever? I'm trying to think of. I can't remember which one, because that's the live action one, right? It's not like animated or anything.
No, it's animated.
Oh, it was animated? Okay, then I didn't see it. I don't think I saw that one then.
You need to see it.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's just unacceptable.
Is it? You said Seth Rogen?
Seth Rogen basically produced it. Yeah.
Ooh, see, I don't know.
I was skeptical. Okay, let me tell you this. He's got four teenage kids playing the voices of the Turtles. Okay, and the whole concept of this is they want to introduce the Turtles as they were young teenagers.
Okay.
In an animated movie. And Jackie Chan plays Splinter, which I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
They had a lot of good voice actors, like John Cena, I think, played like Rocksteady.
Oh, that's pretty.
Ice Cube.
That's a good one.
Ice Cube played, I believe, Superfly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, at first, I was like, when I seen the trailer, I was like, you guys just look like a ninja version of Gumby. It looked like just made out of clay. It looked like crap. Like, I was like, I'm gonna hate it. Whatever, I'm gonna hate it. I don't even want to see it. I was pissed off because I was like, don't make a turtle movie like this. You know. Well, then I went to the movie, and I sat there, and as it started, so it's basically almost like a comic book coming to life type of movie.
Okay.
That's the kind of like drawing art, you know. Okay. So I was like, and like the first 10 minutes in, I was so negative. I was like, this is dumb. That's dumb. You did stupid on that. Screw you, Seth Rogen. You're an idiot. Blah blah blah. And then I just started getting into it. Just kind of started watching, and as I started kind of overlooking how they made it, just kind of listen to the story and what they were trying to do, it was actually pretty dang good. And then, you know, towards the end, like the fight scene was pretty cool and stuff. So I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize, Seth Rogen. Like, I should have gave you a fair chance. I mean, I love your movies, your comedy, and all that stuff. I didn't know how you would do. It wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good. Now it didn't grow like, I mean, it did pretty good, but it didn't like boom big numbers.
Yeah.
But they were trying to center it around the younger generation.
Yeah.
Like retell a story, and they talked about. I don't know if this will happen. I think they talked about either making another movie or making like a series.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, you have to check it out. Watch it. I even bought a movie poster from the movie theater. I bought one because I was like, this could end up being something really big. Ever run into characters, have them sign it, whatever, you know. So it was pretty good. But what I want to see, if you're gonna make a Ninja Turtle movie, no CGI. Like, don't get me wrong. The original, like the movies with CGI and all, they were cool. Don't get me wrong. I don't want no CGI. I want 90s in the suits, like real actors, martial art people in the suits doing these movies like they did in the 90s with the original 3 movies. That's what I want to say. I know I'm old fashioned, but to me, that would be really freaking cool.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I want them to. I think if they could find a good mix between the old movies and the new ones, I feel like if they could find a nice middle ground for that, because I like both sets of them. Like, a lot. I thought they both. I couldn't like. I mean, if I really tried to, I could maybe pick apart a few things that I disliked, but that would be like me really trying to. Yeah. Just watching it and being a fan of the Ninja Turtles and stuff like that, I was like, these are great and those are great. Like, you know. So if they could find a way to like, because while I do like the 90s. I mean, the Ninja Turtle costumes were pretty terrifying. Like, they were pretty creepy looking. Yeah. So, like, if they could find a way to, you know, make it, like, a little... And I know that, obviously, the new Ninja Turtles is, like, mostly CGI stuff. But, like, if they could find, like, that middle ground, like, just, like, find a costume designer that's really, really good, which, there's so many of them, I don't think it'd be difficult. Yeah. And do something like that. And there can still be, like, a little bit of CGI with it. But as long as, like, it's, like, stuff that's vital and it's not making it so that way it's... You know, the whole suit is revolving around it, right? Like, just, like, you know, tweaking a couple little things and that stuff, but it's mostly just, like, real. Right. I feel like that would be a really good, like, middle ground to find with it. Yeah, I think they could do a whole lot more. But, well, we want to thank everybody that listened in, and if you guys have any comments or anything, feel free to leave them in the chat comment section. And this is Ron and Colten with Super Geek Squad Podcast, and we'll see you next time.